house of horrors for who? Welcome to the voice of college football, breaking down the game we all love each and every day with you. Best discussion, debate, and analysis. Buckeyes roll over the Boilers, 41-7. Was it really that close? Ross-Ade Stadium, as we say, a house of horrors for who on this day for Purdue. But the history coming into this game, we talked about it all week. Ohio State fans have lived it. You could win a lot of bets by asking college football fans, even knowledgeable college football fans, what road venue in the Big Ten does Ohio State have its worst record this century? Not Michigan, no. They dominated Michigan most of the century, of course. Michigan State, no, not Wisconsin. Purdue. The Buckeyes came into this game 3-5 this century at Ross-Ade Stadium, most of those times as a overwhelming, heavy favorite. In fact, despite leading this series 42-15, and despite dominating this series in any other way at Ross-Ade Stadium, wow, it has been a rough go for the Buckeyes. And keep in mind, the last time Ohio State walked off this field was in 2018. And they had just gotten blown up by the Boilers 49-20. That was Ohio State's only loss of the season. They won the Rose Bowl, won the Big Ten championship, finished number 3 in the country, but it cost them a college football playoff appearance. Since then, Ohio State has split 4 games with Michigan. And since then, they are now, get this is ridiculous, 38-0 against the rest of the Big Ten. Let's get to the matchup here. Purdue came out steaming. They were smoking. They were rolling. Devin Mockabee on the first play of the game, 19 yards. He finished with 110. A bit misleading, but 110 in the book against the Buckeyes on 18 carries in this one. And Ohio State came into this game playing some exceptional defense against some 2 pretty good offenses the last 2 weeks. Maryland and Notre Dame. Ohio State came into the game number 4 in the nation in yards per play. But Mockabee and company went 9 plays for 44 yards, but the drive stalled. Ohio State stiffened up close to the red zone, and Purdue clanked a field goal. They missed a field goal from 44. This would be a story line of the day. Not that it really mattered, but still, Purdue could have stayed somewhat in the game if they would have had competent field goal kicking. But after that, between that first drive when Purdue went 44 yards and the final drive of the first half going 48, the rest of the first half, forget it. Purdue just got stuck in the mud. Okay, Ohio State takes it from here. The Buckeyes coming off their worst ground game since 2011 against Maryland last week. 62 yards rushing. Chip Tranum, 20 carries for 61 yards. It was bad. It was awful. But they got it rolling eventually in this one. Julian Fleming with a drop on the first play of the game for the Buckeyes. Marvin Harrison should have caught a football that he failed to adjust to early in the drive. But he came right back with a big first down catch, and the Buckeyes were rolling, and they would not be stopped on this day. McCord with a perfect pitch to Marvin Harrison for 34 yards. And that later set up the touchdown to the corner. Marvin Harrison with the touchdown. 6-zip Buckeyes, not 7-0. The Buckeyes with their own kicking woes, at least on the first touchdown drive. They missed the PAT. 6-zip. Purdue lost one of its offensive linemen with an ankle roll-up. Luke Griffin. I don't know that factored into the game too much, but a team like Purdue, not strong or deep along the offensive line, and Hudson Card had a heck of a time against Tyleik Williams, JT Tuimoloau, Jack Sawyer, and company. 13 of 32 on the day, and Hudson Card's a pretty darn good quarterback, but on this day, he had no answers, he had no time, he had no nothing. 13 of 32, and good coverage by the Buckeyes downfield as well. A $126 for Purdue, throwing the football downfield. Also, keep in mind, Purdue got the football. At this point, it's only 6-0. They get the football. They're trying to dig out from underneath the shadow of their own goalpost, and Garrett Miller dropped what would have been a probable first down. It would have been really close measurement right there. Garrett Miller with the drop. And against really good football teams, you cannot give up first downs. You cannot drop the football on conversions for first downs that kill drives, and that's exactly what they did. Purdue punted. The Buckeyes were back in business. Drove right down the field. Pass-run mix. Chip Tranum doing a nice job as well. Devin Brown, how about this? Ohio State having issues running the football? What have they done? They've gotten wide receivers into play. They've done that in the past, of course, but more so this season. Emeka Buka, keep in mind, not available for this ball game. A guy that caught 74 balls and 11 touchdowns, missing in action for this one. So the Buckeyes without their number 2 wide receiver, the guy that runs from the wide receiver position more than anybody else. So trying to figure out different and more exotic, creative ways to run the football. Well, you get wide receivers involved. You get your wild card, jack of all trades involved, Xavier Johnson, and the Buckeyes did that on this day, and that was effective. But also, how about the Wildcat and Devin Brown? I typically don't like this approach. You've got a quarterback. He's a strong quarterback. He's a pocket, not that he can't move, but he's a pocket-style quarterback, can deliver the football. You get inside the 10-yard line. You pull your starting quarterback and bring in a guy that is just a runner. You're not going to let him throw. But it's working. It's worked as a change-up. It worked in this game for the most part. One little gaffe, but Devin Brown scores the touchdown, and the Buckeyes led it 13-0. Key play for the Buckeyes long term. Chip Tranum catches a pass in the flat. He turns upfield. He is immediately hit and met there by 3 Boilers. And the guy in the middle in particular just laid the wood. And Chip Tranum was stunned. He laid there for a few seconds. And then, as all athletes are wont to do, and many of us who are competitive, we want to show that, hey, didn't affect us, shake it off, I'm good to go. He tried to sprint off the field, and you could tell he was woozy, tried to sprint, fell down, needed assistance off the field, and Chip Tranum did not re-enter the football game. Hopefully he's okay. When they showed him on the sideline, he was not being attended to, so hopefully Chip Tranum's okay. Maybe it was a concussion protocol. Did not hear from Ryan Day after the game to get a check on that, and probably at this point he doesn't have anything to release, so we'll have to wait until Tuesday's news conference to hear more on Chip Tranum's status. Insert my guy, Dallin Hayden. I've been clamoring for Dallin Hayden. Check out our Buckeyes show that we present each and every Wednesday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time on the Ohio State channel. You gotta make that if you're a college football fan. You can either root for the Buckeyes and join the conversation or troll the Buckeye, whatever you want to do. Ohio State Buckeyes Live. It's a great show every Wednesday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Well, I've been saying I want to see Dallin Hayden. I understand they're trying to protect the red shirt, but my goodness, they're trying to win a Big Ten championship, too. And Dallin Hayden was the guy against Maryland last year. If you saw that game, they do not win that game, most likely, without Dallin Hayden. And he was not seen except for the play that got blown up against Georgia before the ill-fated field goal miss. We haven't seen him. He comes into this game out of necessity, and he just picks up where he left off. He was running the ball with force, and he's got those long strides. He kind of carries the football high, kind of high points the football. He probably learned that rather well and just accentuated what he learned about the three-point protection of the football. 11 carries for 76 yards for one, Dallin Hayden. All right, Devin Brown back in the ball game. Close to the goal line for another Wildcat touchdown. Right? Nope. He dives into the end zone, fumbles the football before he reaches the goal line. Buckeyes do not score a touchdown. That's really what stopped Ohio State in the first half. They missed a PAT, and they drove all the way down the field, and Devin Brown fumbled in the end zone. So that was a tremendous hit, though, on the football. Helmet to the ball by Markevius Brown that forced the fumble, so the Buckeyes were turned away. However, this Ohio State defense turning teams away at this point. So even when the offense makes a mistake, or in the case of last week's Maryland game, takes a long time to get going, the Buckeye defense is there. Tyleik Williams, Hamilton, they combine on a sack, a 3-and-out immediately after that fumble. So the Buckeyes get the ball right back. They ran the ball 34 times for 163. We took out Kyle McCord's stats with the sacks and the runs and so forth. The running backs ran at 34 for 163 for the Buckeyes, and they led in total yards at this point of the game, 261 to 56. Cade Stover, nice job down near the goal line. The next time that they had the ball to make it 20 to nothing, Kyle McCord looking for somebody in his soft zone, and Cade Stover found that spot in the soft zone, didn't overrun the route, didn't cover himself, knew what he was looking for, spotted up, boom, touchdown, 20-0 Buckeyes. Tyleik Williams had a heck of a ball game. Already mentioned a sack here. He had 2 tackles for loss. He batted down 2 passes. There was a ball that could have been completed for a third down conversion by the Boilers, and he forced the punt by batting down the football. So those are key plays. Those are huge. You also had Ohio State with a tremendous goal line stand. So it's late second quarter, 20 to nothing. Purdue finally starts to move the ball again. They move it down the field 48 yards. They get it down to the 1-yard line. So first credit Jordan Hancock with a great tackle in open space, chasing down the runner who was down near the goal line. I believe it was Devin Mockabee stretching for the goal line. Hancock clipped him barely, brought him down at the half-yard line, and the Buckeyes held from there. So they held, and then they got a negative play. They got a flag on Purdue. They backed him up, and then JT Tuimoloau and Jack Sawyer cleaned up with the sack, forced another field goal, and guess what? Purdue clanked it. This time they literally clanked it off the left upright. Could have gone in, but didn't. And Julio Macias on this day for Purdue, 0 for 3, including a 27-yard miss that was awfully ugly. We'll talk about that in the second half. Buckeyes lead 20 to nothing. They come out of the gate, boom, march right down the field. Dallin Hayden featured, and he scores a touchdown, 27 to zip. Purdue finally gets some positive offense going. Mershawn Rice on the slant play. He's off to the races. Probably the worst case of Ohio State defense in this game. The coverage was okay. He just beat his man, got the inside position on the slant, and then all sorts of missed tackles downfield. Somebody finally brings him down. But then the defense stiffens, and guess what? Purdue's got to try another field goal. That's that 27-yarder that was just hooked to the left. Carnell Tate got in this game, and oh my goodness, we've been expecting this, but it hasn't necessarily been needed. But with maybe Julian Fleming not playing the best and Emeka Ibuka on the sideline, well, Darnell Tate did a really nice job of fighting the defender for a 3rd and 6 catch, and then very next play, he just splits the seam, nobody picks him up, and he hauls in like a 35 or 40-yarder. 3 catches on the day for Carnell Tate for 79 yards. The Buckeyes roll. They go up 34-zip. They win the game 41-7. Kyle McCord, haven't talked much about him. 16 of 28 for 276, 3 touchdowns, no picks. I got to tell you, I don't care what the stats were, because Fleming dropped the first ball of the game. Harrison could have caught a couple balls. He dropped one into Marvin Harrison that he should have caught on maybe the second or third drive of the game. That was just, Kyle McCord threw about 6 or 7 balls that just went over defenders' helmets who were faced the wrong direction, past their shoulders. He was on target. I don't remember seeing a bad throw. And I kind of lost interest at 27-0 or so. So maybe he made a few after that were meaningless. Kyle McCord was on point. He is getting better every week. The issue last week was he was holding on to the ball early in the game too long, not allowing the routes to develop downfield. I'm sorry, he was not holding the ball long enough to allow the receivers to open up the windows downfield, and he was checking off too quickly. That was showed time and time again by the Fox camera behind the offense. But he learned, and he didn't do that the rest of the game. He's a quick learner, it would appear, and then he comes into this game and he plays a great game. He had another incomplete pass where he got pressure. He broke contain. He flushed to his left. He was sprinting to his left as a right-handed quarterback, threw a perfect pass downfield that Xavier Johnson probably should have caught. It was right there. I think he was a bit stunned by it. It was a quote-unquote pass breakup, but Xavier Johnson should have caught the ball. Ohio State looking good on this day. They're missing their top 3 running backs. Now, Dallin Hayden's probably one of their best 3 running backs. He's probably, you know what? He's probably the best. I know they're trying to save him, but shoot, Travion Henderson was supposed to play in this game. We were told early in the week that he would be ready. He was not. Mayan Williams couldn't suit up and play in this game. Chip Tranum got knocked out. Well, Dallin Hayden's the guy, and they're going to figure out other ways again. Xavier Johnson, Abuka, when he comes back, he's a reliable runner, but you can only run him 3 times tops in a game, and Devin Brown, that whole factor works into it as well. But all hands on deck. It's Penn State week. The Nittany Lions are having a scrimmage right now with UMass, and they come to Columbus on Saturday, the 21st. That should be a heck of a ball game. Join us all week. We're going to go nuts on Ohio State, Penn State prep right here at the Voice of College Football. Please like the videos. Least you can do is just hit the like button. It's easy if you enjoy the content, even if you don't agree with me all the time. Best discussion, debate, and analysis is what we deliver here right at the Voice of College Football.